So you guys, it is the next morning, and you guys awaken. What is actually a really nice building. It's well kept. It's not dirty, but you do notice that like all of the windows are barred with like really thick, hard, polished, twisted wood. There's no metal in here. It's all wood. But you do notice that this is like something of a fortified building, and you think if you were having to break out, you'd have some trouble. But you notice there's not really any guards at the door keeping you in or anything. You don't feel like you're under particularly heavy guard. So you guys get dressed and ready, and as you go to head out the door, someone's walking towards you, and they've got two guards by their side, and they look. It's not the king or anything, or the like druid guy, but it looks to be some sort of official. And, he greets you and he says, "Oh, hello, friends. If you could please just stay in your accommodation, we will have some food and drinks sent right in."
Why?
Standard procedure. If you could just please wait until just one more hour, and we'll have people sent in there. We'll have food and drink, and we will fill you in on what's going on.
I just want a sunbake. Yeah.
Can
I sit outside my tent?
He says, yes, certainly. You do notice that the house itself has like an outdoor area that's basically like a pergola, a veranda.
Fine, I'll sit there and I'll play some music.
Yeah, I mean, no one's threatening you, and people seem to be going about their business. But you do notice people seem to be wary of you. You know, you're not from around here. You look a bit different, and you guys are a very odd-looking group of adventurers. You're not.
We don't take kindly to your folk around here.
Yeah. After about an hour of loitering around, you notice that Elvandeer, the druid, is walking up towards your residence. He's got a guard behind. Two guards behind him. One of them he's got a red plumed helmet. You get the feeling he's the captain of the guard or something like that. And behind them are four servants carrying trays of what looks like pitchers of something to drink and some sort of roasted root vegetable that smells really nice, actually. They're steaming as they're walking up to the house. And Elvandeer walks right up to you and says, "May I join you for breakfast?"
Yes.
Okay, yeah, and he gestures, and the people carrying the trays go in, and they set a place. So you guys are treated to quite a nice breakfast. So it's basically honeyed milk, which has been chilled, and it's basically like a sweet potato that's been roasted and covered in honey, and they're all delicious. For anyone who wants to eat that stuff.
Oh, yum.
I'm totes down for that. I'm gonna scoff it.
Okay.
Politely.
Free food, I'll eat.
Yeah, Elvandeer's sitting with you. The guards are in there with him. They're sort of sitting back. They're not partaking in the breakfast. They're just looking very guardy and serious. Yeah, Elvandeer takes a picture of milk and a small section of one of the sweet potato yam type things. But he doesn't eat much. He starts the conversation by saying, "Well, I hope you've all rested well, but I must know, what are you doing here?"
We're returning one of your townspeople.
He says, "Yes, but..."
So we found her in a spider cave.
He says, "Yes, we've spoken to Kieta, and she was found about a day south from here. There's no reason for you guys to be out there. There's nothing out there. What are you doing here?"
Yeah, we're rescuing Tim. Ash.
Yeah, I got caught.
Says, "You must understand that this is almost peculiar. A party such as yours, traveling with such as that," and he gestures to Taylor, who's a human. He says, "We're in a time of war."
We've been working for him for a very long time, and is this a war only on this continent?
Yeah.
Because we came here by boat as a party, so we were unaware of this war that's going on, or the fact that our human would be implicated in any such war.
He nods and says, "I appreciate that. I mean, you must understand, my people are nervous having you here. We've been under attack a lot lately, and all we've come is to reclaim our forests. And for it, we've lost many lives. I must ask that you guys leave this morning. I cannot hold you in my camp, I'm sorry." He looks over his shoulder, and then one of the guards shakes his head, and he says, "I'm afraid we don't deal in material money. We don't believe in using money in our community. It's to the direct east of where you are, actually to the southeast, Stormheim, it's been described to you as like a really large city. You reckon if you wanted to get really anything, that would be the place to go?
Can I ask him, since lots of his people have died, how many of them have died to these creatures and spiders in the forest?
It's precious few, in fact. The party that went missing with Kieta is the first real interaction we've had with them. We were aware that there were spiders in the area, but we'd never really had an issue with them. It's the humans. He sort of almost spits the word as he says it. He says it's the humans which are the issue.
I don't know too much of this war, so I can't really comment.
As he said that, he says, well, then let me fill you in. These forests have belonged to my people for thousands of years. We had lived here. We had prospered. And then 150 years ago, the humans came. They burned, they killed, they stabbed, and they forced us out. So when the opportunity arose a year ago at your time, we chose to retake these forests, our forests. And since then, we've been at war.
Okay.
Elvandeer says, though, but perhaps we can come to some sort of accord. Would you like to assist us in our war effort? We can return a favor, as you say. He gestures to you, Kaderin, to the bow on your back. And he says, well, we make some of the finest bows known to this world. We could repay you in that. He sort of gestures around. He says, none of you particularly strike me as warriors, but we are very capable smiths of fighting weapons, and particularly shields. Well, my son doesn't seem too fond of you, I'm afraid. He doesn't seem to like your presence around here, and as the future king of our people, I do have to heed his counsel from time to time.
Oh, really? Because we've talked to him before, and he led me to believe that we were to be welcomed here.
Yeah.
Says you've been welcomed?
Could we chat to him?
He did talk to us.
I mean, we were welcomed. I just thought we wouldn't be asked to move on.
Unfortunately,
That's what he led me to believe. I'd like to speak to him.
Go on, ask your son.
I think this is a mistake. I think this is a mistake.
Misunderstanding.
Give me a persuasion check, Karen.
I
I
fucking hate
suppose
you.
you could speak to my son, but I insist I be in attendance.
Sure.
Certainly.
Yeah, sure.
He turns around and he says something in Elvish, which those of you who speak Elvish can understand, as he says, go fetch the boy, bring him here. And then one of the guards nods and does a salute with his weapon and moves out in a very military march sort of fashion. And he continues to converse with you while this goes on. He says, now, tell me, if you're a group of adventurers, what do you call yourselves?
The Super Friends. We're called the Super Friends.
He says,
Really?
well, I'm familiar with your
Really?
language, but I'm not familiar with that. Okay, well, I will take a note. And he nods. And he
I think
and
the Super Friends.
that's when Elvandeer comes through the door, and he looks like a 16-year-old boy, right? But being an elf, he's probably like 100 years old or something, but he's still an adolescent. And he looks nervous. He doesn't want to meet any of our eye lines, and he comes sit down. He says, Father, what is it? I thought we agreed that these people would leave. Elvandeer snaps, and he says, you can tell he's really impatient, and he's sort of flushed with anger, and he says, what my father doesn't seem to appreciate is that we're at war. We're at war with his kind. We don't know any of you. You're not from here. For all we know, you're spies for the enemy. You've come from the south. We're from the
Yes.
humans.
Are
You've
we
got the
humans?
smell all over you.
Well, surely us helping your people is reason enough for us to be trustworthy people, and we just want to know more about what you do here and wondering whether we can get some. Honestly, we're hired help. We'll do the jobs that are coming.
Yeah, Elvandeer gets sort of like violently angry now. He grabs one of the platters and throws it at the wall, and he says, for all I know, you've already been
the hell?
hired. We don't know you. And his father waves his hand. He goes, calm, Elvandeer. Calm. We must be diplomatic about this. And he nods and he says it over.
I'm not raising my voice, mate. Your teenage angst is through the roof.
Elvandeer sort of takes it.
Jane, Jesus.
Elvandeer takes over the conversation a bit now, and he says, excuse my son, but the points he brings up are not unvalid. We don't know you. We cannot trust you. You've got a human in your midst. You've come from the human lands. And as you say, young demon, you're hired help. You'll help anybody with coin. How can we trust that?
Have coin.
It's kind
Or
of hard for
favours.
us not to walk through human land when we literally came off a boat and the first thing you encounter is human land.
Yeah, as you reach into your bag to pull something out, you notice both guys immediately go to the head of the weapon, like nervously, and then as they see it's just a map, they sort of relax. There's a bit of tension in the room at the moment. Like, and you can tell that they don't particularly like you or Kaderin or fucking what's Simone's character called again? Simone, help me. Adrienne.
Adrienne.
Really, all of you half elves, they seem to be more wary of even than Carrion.
You've got a lot against us for a party with only one human.
He says, well, these, and he sort of gestures, he says, these are half human. He again snaps to his father in Elven and he says, I suggest we just kill them. Be done with it.
Look, guys, I understand we're outsiders, and I know the importance of keeping your native ground, and I know the history of this town and its struggles to
Guys, honestly, I just want to
connection
find a
to the
swamp
land.
dragon.
We can head off. Just give us a helping hand, and we won't cross you. And we're not going to cross you anyway.
Yeah, and
I think
Elvandeer
that'd be
again
helpful.
gestures to Elvandeer to calm down, and he says in Elven, calm, Elvandeer. You must learn patience if you are to lead our people. And then he starts speaking to you again in common, and he says, if you truly wish to curry our favour, I have a task we can do.
Can I show them something?
Okay.
Elvandeer, I recall that you didn't really like the wine that Spurgeon offered you last night, and I thought maybe you'd prefer something a bit more natural. And I
That's
produce my bouquet of herbs that I got from the tree.
Oh God,
the
no,
lime
you're
tree.
gonna kill someone.
And I hand it over to them.
Yeah, so
Her bouquet gone.
Yeah, Elvandeer takes it and he looks at them curiously and he says to his son, Elvandeer, he says, this is unusual. Do you sense power on these? And his son nods and says, yes. And then he puts them down and he stands up and he starts doing like an arcane incantation. And he's done about 6 seconds later and he bashes his hand on the table and his eyes start glowing bright blue.
Yep.
And he picks up the herb again and he says, yes, they have quite a curious aura to them. And he looks at Karen and he says, where did you get these?
Oh, it was from a lime tree. We were helping some scriveners
His eyes
out.
like go wide all of a sudden. He says, a lime tree.
Do you
Describe
know
this lime
about
tree to
them?
me.
Do you know about the limes?
He says, describe it to me.
It had a face and it was speaking very strangely. It was jolly and then horrible.
Yeah, his eyes go even wider and he says to his son, we may have a bigger problem.
Fucking Brett, get him to fuck off.
Do you have lime tree problems?
What's the problem?
We encountered a lime doll.
He says, not for
Is
nearly a millennia, but they were sealed away. They were defeated.
this the entire campaign? Oh my god.
It's just lime trees. Everything is limes.
He says, they may seem harmless, but they are not. They are very dangerous. They nearly overtook this entire land. Did you vanquish this tree? Was there more of them? Did you destroy all of the fruit?
Yes, we killed the tree. The fruit, the last fruit that I saw got thrown in a tree nearby from here and set on fire.
His eyes go wide. He says, you let a lime
Fire
tree in
is
the
what
forest
germinates
here?
the seeds, probably.
He says, you must leave. You have possibly condemned us all.
Shit.
And Elvandeer is saying, see, I told you, father. I told you these people were evil. He says to you, Karen, do you have any other herbs? These must be destroyed. These cannot be allowed to live.
The only other thing I have is some goo that we got from a doll that reminded me a lot of the
Lime tree.
the lime tree, and
You
the
kept
goo
yelling lime.
certainly felt like lime. It's some doll goo.
He
I showed him
looks
the vial
curious again.
containing
He
the doll
says,
goo.
She licked it. She's crazy.
Okay. Oh, you've tasted
I
it?
didn't lick it.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I did.
Somebody did. Yeah, and it just tasted like citrus. But yeah, he says, I must see this. Give me this liquid. Is it from the lime tree?
Yes.
No,
Doll.
From the lime doll. Again, gesture where this
this
occurred.
is really
please.
lost on us.
Okay, and he waves the captain of the guard forward as well. He comes over and looks where you're gesturing. He says, are you sure? Are you sure this is the only ones you've seen?
so far.
And he turns around and says in Elven to his guard, he says, I want 2 patrols of 10 men to go to each of these locations. Take one of the Magus with you and make sure you eradicate any sign of limes. It is a powerful, powerful magic, which was
What does it do?
brought by a mage thousands of years ago. It simply, I guess, wanted to increase his lime harvest, but they took on a life of their own.
What you got for us?
She says there is a magus, a human magus, to the southeast. No more than 2 days, but he is relatively powerful. I would not recommend a head-on assault, but he has been poisoning our water. His name is Bayaz, and he is quite powerful. So upon hearing that name, I don't know if you guys remember, but you have actually hung out with a mage called Bayaz before.
I don't know, have we already stocked up? Is there someone we can stock up for this quest?
It says, we will provide you with adequate food and rations. Should you need anything else?
And weapons for the other dodgy assassin?
Yeah.
He nods and says, yes, I will have a bow organized for the short one.
I need some sweet knives too.
Yes, I could do
Don't
that.
push
We
it
can,
Also,
we can equip you with a dagger and a bow. And he says, yes. Actually, there's no guards left in the room with him. It's just him and his son. And his son actually protests as well. He says, we're going to be equipping these people now to slit our own throats. And his father waves him away and says, I will remind
We're
you,
not
boy,
gonna
that I'm
do
still
that.
your king.
I certainly won't do that.
He couldn't understand him.
Sorry, I just spat everywhere.
Every time Elvandeer is not speaking directly to you, he's speaking in Elven. He's still like red-faced with anger and rage. He really doesn't like you.
If you could please have our halflings
Yeah.
here ready within the hour, and we will depart upon this quest for you. And hopefully,
Yeah.
this will
Him and
be
Elvandeer both stand up, and Elvandeer actually storms out halfway through your sentence, Spurgeon, and Elvandeer nods and he says, we will have the supplies sent within the hour, and then we will have you escorted out of the village. But,
I'm gonna mumble like, "Gonna fuck a bear."
okay, I'm going to roll a perception check on his behalf. Can you roll me a deception? I don't know what I'd get you to roll to see how noticeable your whisper is.
Let me have a look.
You get the feeling he doesn't hear, or if he does, he doesn't react. And so Elvandeer is now like, he's getting to his feet, ready to leave, and he says, I will remind you people that you are guests in this village. Do not be disrespectful.
I appreciate your hospitality.
He says, so far, all we've had is shouting matches and strained discord, and we have been nothing but welcoming and friendly to you.
Hey, I have
nothing but racism.
You liked my music.
He says, well, I could have had knives stuck in your throat the second you walked in this village, and at this point I'm somewhat regretting not having done that. We will have the supplies sent, and you will be gone this morning, or there will be problems. And he excuses himself and leaves.
What evidence do you require of this mage's vanquishment?
He says over his shoulder, his severed head should suffice.
Do you have a plastic carry bag? Because that's going to smell.
He just keeps walking at this point. Yeah, he's gone. All right. Yeah. So after about half an hour or so, somebody rocks up and you hear like a pile of stuff being dumped out the side of the front door, and then the person like quickly sort of scoots away. You notice it's a relatively young boy. You get the feeling he might be like an artisan's apprentice or something. And Ash, what it is, it's a fairly shortened, it looks like they've sanded down the ends of a regular sized bow to make a short bow for you.
Whatever, mate.
And they've left 2 sort of curved daggers for you, which are quite finely crafted, but they are very obviously elven. So is the bow. And they've left you a quiver of 60 arrows.
All right, should we leave? Can you guys
Yeah.
surround me? Because I feel like I'm going to get killed.
Are you kidding me? These fucking half-elves will be...
Okay, yeah. So as you guys open the door to leave, there's 4 guards posted outside the house. And in addition to that, the tough-looking captain of the guards with the red-plumed helmet. And he says to you in common, in fairly broken common actually, he says, I escort you to the edge of village.
Sounds good, buddy. Sounds
Very good.
And he escorts you probably 2 hours walk out of the village on a different road than you came in, actually. He's escorting you towards Stormheim, so to the
I haven't
southeast.
been this way.
Oh,
And-
we wanted to go back to spiders.
This is a
He
dangerous
seems to
terrain.
assume that you're going to kill the mage, so that's the way he's leading you. So this is sort of, you notice that there's a bit of a change in the foliage here. You've gone from a mountainous area back into sort of forest. And he says, but out there, and he points with his sword, there's all kinds of things. You should keep your wits about you.
And I
he
keep
gestures
walking.
to the road, and he says, if you follow this, it should lead you right to the village where that wizard resides. I assume your kind will even be welcome there. And he sort of turns on his heel and leaves. Okay, yeah, so you're just left alone on this road. So for about a day's travel to the southeast to get to the wizard's house, to get back to the spider cave, it is about 2.5 days travel.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh no, it's
we
only
better
about
have
a
a
day and a half
conversation.
travel actually.
So are we going to go to the spiders?
I really think we should take the spiders out. I'd take the lead and go spiders.
You want to head? Well, give me those survival rolls, yo. Well, yeah, while stalking along Adrian, across your travels, you see a deer off in the distance. You reckon you could probably take it down with your bow if you did a good shot?
Is it
Did you want to?
Elvandeer?
Oh, God.
Was I playing with
for the deer.
Yeah, absolutely no worries. You take it perfectly in the side, and the arrow pierces right through its heart, and it dies immediately. It's like the perfect hunter's shot. Yeah, and now you can have deer meat if you would like. Alrighty, yes, what are you guys doing? It's morning, you're about 2 hours travel away from the spider cave. What do you want to do? You guys are still... So you guys make it to the spider cave and you're sort of out of eye shot of the cave. So you can see the entrance, and it looks a bit different to when you last saw it. It's a bit wider, some of the rocks have been scattered a little bit. But you do notice that there are spiders actively scurrying in and out of the entrance. Like the large spiders.
Actually, I want to stealth too. I don't like the spiders.
I want to stealth.
Okay. Yeah, everyone give me your stealth check.
I'm going to walk towards the cave, stealthily.
Yeah, you guys get the feeling you're pretty well hidden. No one's making a huge ass of themselves, so you don't have any spiders actively scurrying over to you, so that's good. What do you guys want to do? Alright, so you guys want to creep forward, okay. Yeah, you're still probably about 100 meters from the entrance. You're hidden in the tree line, but you notice that you're in the very edge of the tree line now. If you want to make it any closer to the entrance of the cave, you're going to be in open ground. You get the feeling it's been purposely cleared by sort of the spiders, which is kind of weird, right? Like, spiders aren't intelligent.
I take out my bow, and I shoot one in the middle of its eyes.
Yeah, okay. So the spiders like just scurrying in and out, carrying like foods, or like, you notice some of them have got like animals in their mandibles. Yeah, you can get a beat on one if you want. Actually, if a roll just goes and like does this, you guys don't get time to react. You can just do it alone, absolutely. You guys just won't have time to do it.
Smashed one in the middle of the eyeballs. Stupid
Yeah, you
spider.
absolutely hit it. Yeah, you hit it, no worries at all. Just roll me your damage to know. Yeah, you take the spider down, no worries. It seemingly sort of falls. And like a bunch of the other spiders around you look a bit confused, right? Like that one of the spiders just fell down, and one of them picks up the spider and moves it back into the hive. Yeah, but they just carry the corpse of the spider in. It doesn't appear to be like a panic response. They're just sort of like, oh, there's a dead spider. Let's take it inside. So.
Can I open fire?
I'm taking a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you both hit. Both
Do I get my snake attack?
Yes. Yeah, you hit as well, Ash. You get the feeling
Okay,
you
so
only
I
just hit. And you hit.
I do 7 damage. Surely that takes one out.
Yeah, another one dies. To 32 damage. Like one of them just explodes, basically. All of its legs fall off, and it just like is eviscerated. You do notice now that lots of spiders are suddenly dying. There has been some sort of response, and the spiders sort of realize something is up and start retreating back into the cave. And you hear like a really high-pitched squealing noise coming somewhere deep within the cave, and all of the spiders retreat back in. You guys are decently familiar with this cave. You were here only a few days ago. Tim especially is familiar with this cave. So you guys see into the cave, and you can see, like, you know, when you can see spider eyes with light shining off of them in the distance, you just see, like, illuminated orbs, and there's hundreds of them looking at you. It looks like they're all around the cave, even, like, on the roof and shit.
You might want to get rid of those old dead
Can
spiders.
I cast Shatter just straight in there?
Oh, so they're sort of on the back end of this, sort of starting around, like, here. And most of them are sort of defending around this more narrow point, and that's sort of where they're mostly congregated. based on the amount of eyes you can see.
What's the
Yes, I'd like to cast it as a
115?
level 2. Wait, what do I have it as?
May I
no, it's okay as a
simultaneously
level
cast
2 spell.
something?
Yeah, sure. You guys can organize that.
Yeah. I want to cast.
I'm doing it.
I want to cast Fireball here,
Okay, so if I move that,
like as far as I can go, 150 foot from my place in a linear.
No worries. Yeah, so you guys just throw this absolutely like assault of magic at this entrance, right? And you don't even really need to roll damage, and there's no point me rolling any resistances because you guys just eviscerate everything that's there. It's such a violent explosion of magic that lots of spider viscera and parts are getting blown back towards you guys. And immediately you notice that the spiders retreat further back into the cave. And again, you hear this like hugely high-pitched scream that shakes the walls of the cave. It's so loud, coming from somewhere deep within the tunnel.
hey
And the
guys,
spiders seem to retreat really far back in.
it's a
Okay.
trap.
Yes, you guys enter this first cavern, and this is somewhat familiar to you. And you notice that it's basically abandoned, and you still see the splotches of the spider blood you guys had left on the ground from a few days ago. And so as you view further down the tunnel, again, you don't really see any spiders.
Yeah, I'm sensing a trap.
Better hide, you bastards.
And it is sort of oddly quiet. Last time you were in here, you heard a lot of sort of chattering and sort of weird spider noises, but now it's sort of oddly quiet.
I think so.
I told you it's a trap.
I'm gonna cast False Life on myself.
And none of you guys notice anything particularly out of place. I mean, you're in a spider cave, so you're all on pretty high alert. And now you can start to see where it starts widening again into that second cavern I think some of you had seen slightly before.
Yeah, we did walk into it. Yeah.
And again, you start to see some spider eyes. So you see a whole bunch of spider eyes, right?
Yeah.
And they're all staring at you. And with the light now, you can actually see a bunch of spiders. But while they were retreating from your light before, now they're not. They seem to be holding their ground.
Right. Let's form up around.
Wait a
here.
minute. Something does happen.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, they're not running. It's a trap. I knew it.
All right, Janilla, can you please give me a saving throw, a wisdom saving throw of... Okay, just give me a wisdom saving throw. Okay, yeah, you can feel yourself resisting some sort of offensive magic spell that's just been cast on you. And you're not... Actually, I'll say you're not really sure of the origin of it, but you're pretty sure a spider can't cast a spell. So I don't know if you're worried or not.
I think I would be.
Someone else is controlling them. I mean,
Someone's casting magic on me, guys.
Right, gather around me. Gather around me.
Will do.
Everyone
All right,
gather
and
around me.
again, you then hear another booming, screeching noise, but this time it feels like the source of it is right in front of you, and it's
Yeah.
almost deafening. Like your ears start ringing, and immediately
Front or
the spiders
above?
start surging towards you. Roll me initiative, please, everybody.
Oh.
Damn it,
Where
Taylor.
your character
Okay,
is now is where you are for the battle, so no more movement, no more scooting around.